What's up, boys? UFC 308 just ended, and Ilia Topuria just knocked out Max Holloway in the third round. Khamzat Chimaev finished Whittaker in the first round. Let's break down each fight. Main event, Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway. Ooh, God damn it, Max! He was looking good first round. I feel like it was Max. Second round was really close. I gave it to Max. Honestly, Max was really finding that jab. He was really finding his strikes. Topuria, he was starting to struggle. In that first round, Topuria was struggling to find distance and closing the distance. He honestly was pressing him against the cage, and that's how he finds his shots. He doesn't force things. He presses people against the cage, makes them not understand how far away they are from the cage, and finds his knockout blow. And you know what? He had that in the first 2 minutes of the first round. Then he started to go away from him. He ended up losing that first round. Second round, he kind of maybe for like 1-2 minutes was pressing him against the cage, and then Max Holloway was starting to push the pace. He had so much output. Max Holloway threw like 200 punches in that second round. But then Ilia Topuria, he just has a different level of power. This fool is probably pound for pound most power in the UFC, in the MMA. I think that Topuria has some ungodly power. Max Holloway has never been knocked out before, and he fucking put him out. That was crazy. I mean, Max Holloway took a crazy blow. He ended up getting knocked out with the follow-up shot. He definitely was on Queer Street, and damn, it's honestly upsetting to see Max Holloway lose, but it honestly like makes me like more hyped for Ilia Topuria just because he talks so much shit. He said he would knock him out. He said he actually predicted that he would knock him out in the third round, and then he switched it to saying he would point at the ground in the first 10 seconds and find the knockout, but he said he'd knock him out, and he knocked him out, and I didn't think that he'd knock him out. Max Holloway had a crazy chin. He honestly ate the punches that he was throwing the first and the second round, but he honestly couldn't take the Spaniard power. And, damn. Ilia Topuria, he's just that guy. Honestly, that is insane that he knocked him out, I feel like. And you know what? People were predicting that he'd knock him out, and I guess a lot of people can say that, oh, I predicted Ilia Topuria knocking him out, but damn, I feel like that was like a hard press to say confidently that Ilia Topuria would knock him out. But you know what? Now that Ilia Topuria has knocked out Max Holloway, he can 100% knock out anybody. I don't doubt it. He's definitely got the uber power, and you know what? He might just become the 145 GOAT. He might become pound for pound, because honestly, who's beaten somebody with that much power, with that much technique, with that much patience? He picks his shots. He's got the wrestling. I don't know. It's going to be hard to stop Ilia Topuria, and you know what? Volkanovski is looking like he'll fight Ilia Topuria, and I think it might be another fucking bad night for the boys. He might get knocked out again. And if Ilia Topuria knocks out Volk twice and Max Holloway, you just knocked him out. Oh, shit. It's over for the Max Holloway and Volk era, and it's just Ilia Topuria. And you know what? That's how it seems. Ilia Topuria, it seems like it's going to be hard to beat him. It was a crazy fight. Crazy to see him knock him out. And you know what? He called it, and he's going to be talking so much shit now. He was uber confident, talking so much shit. Max Holloway, I'll see October 26th, and you know what? He did see. So, feels bad. The co-main event, Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev. Oh, what the fuck? Whittaker is my boy. But holy shit, Chimaev. He is he just sticks on you. You know what? We haven't really seen this type of wrestling from anyone other than Khabib, where he's just on you, gives you no space. His takedown, it just seems like you cannot stop that takedown. Chimaev, his first round is just so crazy. I knew that his first round would be crazy, but I feel like the fact that he couldn't finish Usman, he couldn't finish Burns, I was just like, you know what? Whittaker, he'll be able to survive the first round, edge him out on the feet, find the knockout blow. But holy shit, Chimaev just silenced everybody. I mean, obviously he was the favorite. A lot of people were picking him, but I feel like a lot of people were picking Whittaker in this fight. But Chimaev, he just went there, got the takedown, stuck on him like freaking nothing. Didn't let him get away, choked him out, broke his jaw. Honestly, it did seem like Whittaker tapped that quick. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he felt some crazy pain and knew that his jaw was dislocated and was just like, oh, it's it, I got to tap. But like the reaction time that when it got sunk in on the jaw, well, he didn't even have it in deep. He had it on the jaw, and right when he started squeezing, he instantly tapped. I don't know. It felt a little bit weird, but I mean, definitely. He said that he dislocated his jaw. I take his word for it. He's a tough motherfucker, so he ain't gonna just go out like nothing. Khamzat Chimaev though is a fucking monster. Honestly, he's the next champ. I don't see du Plessis stopping that. Honestly, the only way that du Plessis could win this fight if he can somehow survive like the first 3 rounds. The way that he was coming at this fight and the way he was just controlling Whittaker was not like he was controlling Usman. I feel like Usman, he started to fade late in the second and third round. But the way that he was controlling Whittaker and getting in these positions and sinking in chokes and just landing strikes, he was really not expending any energy. And I feel like you'd be able to do that second round, and if he kept doing that second round, maybe even the third round. So a 5-round fight, I feel like the way he took this fight, you'd easily be able to take out du Plessis. And honestly, I mean, it's either I'm pretty sure it's du Plessis versus Sean Strickland next. Honestly, it's donezoed for either one of those. Sean Strickland would get cooked even more, but du Plessis has that dog in him. He definitely can try to fight out Chimaev, but Chimaev just seems like a fucking animal. He's a demon. He's just an elite level, and you know what? Taking out Whittaker like that, nobody's done that to Whittaker, so I think that Chimaev's the next champ. Let's move on to the next fight. Next fight up, Magomed Ankalaev versus Aleksandar Rakic. Honestly, Ankalaev, he kind of disappointed me in this fight. Didn't take him down at all. Rakic, his corner was telling him that he was up 2-0. I feel like that was a bit much, but honestly, his first round was decent. Honestly, the fight was pretty close in itself. I feel like Ankalaev, if he was going to take him to a decision, he should have dominated him. He was complaining that Rakic wasn't bringing the heat towards it, but honestly, at this level, you got to bring your own heat. You got to push your own pace. You got to make shit happen, especially like Chimaev. I'd say Ankalaev, he's still champ level. He's still look good, but if he's sticking to this game plan like he did against Rakic, I honestly see him getting knocked out against Ferreira. So not a good game plan. If he doesn't go for the takedowns against Ferreira, or that he changes his game plan that he had against Rakic, he's got to have something different. He's got to bring something different. Just having some basic good left straight isn't really going to beat Ferreira. I know that he really likes striking, but he's got to do something different. A bit disappointing. Thought he would finish him, but confident that he edged this fight, won 29-28, but Rakic, he held his own. I feel like he had a decent performance. Ankalaev didn't look that good, but he's still champ level. I'd say he's great everywhere, but a bit disappointing for my liking. Let's move on to the next fight. Next fight up, Dan Ige versus Lerone Murphy. Honestly, first round, Ige drops Murphy. Second round, he did bounce back. He had a better round in that round and used his wrestling. But honestly, the third round was crazy close. Dan Ige was staying on top for, 3 minutes. Didn't do anything, but had control of him on top. Murphy, he doesn't really have that dog in him as like I thought he would. He does have decent cardio, and he definitely has better cardio than Ige, but I don't know. Honestly, I was a bit disappointed in Murphy's performance. He honestly could have lost this fight. Ige could have easily won this fight. I feel like he could have easily won this fight, along with he could have got given this fight. I feel like a unanimous decision for Murphy might be a little bit nice. I'd say that Murphy, it's hard to say who even won that third round because so little happened. Murphy did have the better striking exchanges, but I mean, Ige was laying on him for 3 minutes. Didn't do much damage, but that is control. I don't know. I guess damage does trump all, but honestly, the judges give it the other way, and it wouldn't be surprising. I think that Dan Ige, he looked good in this fight, honestly. He definitely has really good power. Lerone Murphy, this might have been a little bit of a check, but his call-out was great. I feel like Josh Emmett would be a really good matchup for him. Not a big step up, but I'd say that it is a nice step up for him to see where he's at in the division, and 145 is stacked, so let's move on to the next fight. Next fight up, the first fight on the main card, Shara Magomedov versus Armen Petrosyan. Whoo-wee! Shara Magomedov came in with a double spinning back fist, knocked him out in the second round just before the round ended. Armen Petrosyan, he honestly was looking pretty good that first round. I feel like he actually was the better striker in this matchup. He used his heavy kicks and output of his kicks pretty well. I think that he was looking pretty good on the feet. Second round, he honestly probably was edging him out maybe a little bit, but Shara Magomedov was just quick with that double back fist and had a crazy knockout. The way that He got those double off, was crazy, and Petrosyan ate that clean on the chin. And you know what? He couldn't handle it. Honestly, I feel like the way that Magomedov walked off made it a stoppage just because Petrosyan didn't know where Magomedov was at, and he kind of just expected him to start pounding on him and shield it up, and then the ref was just like, oh, this guy's way out of it, which he could have been like way gonzo, but I feel like Petrosyan, he was expecting him to start piling on him and started defending himself. He didn't know where he was at, but it kind of made him seem like he wants out, which he could have easily wanted out. It's hard to tell exactly how damaged he was there, but he ate it clean. He took a heavy blow with that spinning back fist. Shara Magomedov comes out with a knockout victory. It's a good win. Pick was on Petrosyan. I thought that Petrosyan would do what he did, mix in some takedowns as well. He couldn't mix in any takedowns, but Shara Magomedov was hanging in there with him. He was probably just getting outstruck a little bit, found the knockout blow. He isn't really a knockout guy, and he got the knockout blow, so good on Magomedov. This is a good win against a good striker. Good knockout victory for Magomedov. Let's move on to the next fight. Next fight up, Ibo Aslan versus Raffael Cerqueira. Ibo Aslan, he does have that Turkish power. He looked, honestly, it's hard to say on like if he even looked good. He just caught him and just kept fucking unloading, and he could not recover. Honestly, I feel like even the ref could have even gave him some more time to recover because he wasn't out on his feet and he was taking hard blows, but he wasn't knocked out. Maybe let him fight, but it's not like a title fight or anything, so you can't blame the ref for stopping it. I did think Cerqueira would win. Low confidence in it. And you know what? The Turkish power continues his all wins by knockout. He didn't really prove anything. I thought that this fight would end in finish. Pretty confident in that. And, I mean, Cerqueira, it's hard to tell even how bad or good he is just because he didn't throw anything and just got fucking pounded on. Ibo Aslan, I think that maybe the UFC is trying to hype him up decently, but I don't know. He doesn't seem that skillful to me. I feel like the higher you push him, the higher people he'll fight, and he'll just get fucking knocked out by them. I mean, he definitely brings it. He definitely has the power, but I think Ibo Aslan isn't that much of a prospect. Let's move on to the next fight. Next fight up, Geoff Neal versus Rafael dos Anjos. Neal dropped him early. I thought that this fight would go to decision. Honestly, he did. It was some fluke injury. I think he tore his ACL, but Neal, he did drop him early, and he was probably looking to land a lot of shots because Dos Anjos was kind of too susceptible to getting hit. Neal was looking good. The fight really hasn't even really started. Knocked him out, I guess, or got the knockout victory in the first round, but it was injury. I'd say Neal, he looked good. It's kind of hard to grasp anything from this fight because it wasn't too long, but Neal, he looked good. Dos Anjos, he's probably out for a while, if not donezoed for his career. I don't know how long he'll be out for, but Neal, decent victory, but he kind of got it taken away just because he got injured. Let's move on to the next fight. Next fight up, Myktybek Orolbai versus Mateusz Rebecki. This is a crazy fight. This is probably, I mean, shit, it's probably fight of the night because Orolbai was taking so much punishment. Rebecki, crazy punishment. He got a headbutt right into the fucking eye socket. Cut him bad. He was leaking crazy. The whole canvas was all his blood and Orolbai's blood. This is a great fight. They were going back and forth. Rebecki, honestly, I knew that he was great. I really liked him as a fighter, but he honestly stepped it up this fight. Orolbai was dogging him, and he was still staying in there. Orolbai, he honestly is really tough. I feel like the fact that he was about to get finished, he was getting 10-8'd in that third round. He still managed to get on top, made it a 10-9. Honestly, I'd say Orolbai, he should have mixed in the wrestling earlier. He should have tried to get more takedowns and be more smothering and get Rebecki more tired. Rebecki, honestly, his cardio was fading late. In the second and third round, he was starting to fade, but Rebecki, he still just kept that gear, kept going forward, and I think that he deserved the win. He won 2 rounds. He could have almost got a 10-8 in the third round. I think he deserved the win. I think split decision is kind of bullshit because Orolbai ended up getting the third round somehow when he was getting fucking pounded on. So it doesn't really make sense how it was a split decision. I think Rebecki is a really good win for him. I'm really impressed with this victory. Orolbai looked really good, but this definitely checked him. It's kind of like the same way that Rebecki got checked against Ferreira, Diego Ferreira, and Myktybek Orolbai just got checked by Rebecki. So I mean, this honestly was a really good matchup, really good fight of the night. Rebecki, big props to him. And let's move on to the next fight. Next fight up, Abus Magomedov versus Brunno Ferreira. Brunno Ferreira was my funky pick of the week, Abus Magomedov. His first round, he kind of went to just like do nothing, had a couple of leg kicks, got a takedown, won that round, but it was pretty much a nothing-burg round. Second round, Bruno Ferreira drops him, hurts him bad. He could have maybe finished him, but honestly, he should have had that. The intensity that he had in the second round, he should have been bringing that in the first round, especially since he's a lot more fresh in that round. But he didn't. He got taken down even in the second round, and then I believe in the third round he got submitted by arm triangle. And I'd say that Magomedov, he honestly kind of just dogged him. He was in trouble in the second round. The first round he banked, but he really did nothing in that round. Second round he lost, and third round just submitted him. So good on Abus Magomedov. He is making his game better, getting his wrestling better, having finishes on by submission. So good on him. It was a good win for him. Bruno Ferreira is, I don't know how hard he is to put away because he's went to all his fights have ended in finish, but Magomedov, this is a good win, I'd say, and he finishes him in the third round by arm triangle. And let's move on to the next fight. Next fight up, Nzechukwu versus Chris Barnett. In the very beginning of the fight, before the fight even started, Chris Barnett went to jump up in there. Looked like he fucking tore his Achilles, tore his ACL or something. He looked like he messed up by jumping that high. Honestly, if this isn't a sign to lose weight, then I don't know what is, because it looked like he tore his hamstring, tore his ACL, his meniscus. Everything looked injured at the end of this fight. He kind of gave up because he was injured. Kennedy, he looked good. I was really confident in him. He isn't that reliable, but he had all the advantages in this fight. He easily won against Chris Barnett, knocked him out in the first round. This doesn't really prove anything. I don't really see, this is not a good win against Chris Barnett. Chris Barnett hasn't beaten anybody. I guess his debuting fight in heavyweight is a win, so that's a good thing, but I'd like to see him match up with somebody else in the heavyweight division. And let's move on to the next fight. Next fight up, Victor Hugo versus Farid Basharat. Farid Basharat, he honestly did what I thought he would, stuck to the game plan. He had better striking success than I thought he would. Hugo had powerful kicks, and he had a couple attempts of a knee bar, but honestly, Basharat is too good to get submitted by something like that. He had takedowns late. He mixed in some takedowns early. His striking was pretty fast. He's pretty crisp. He's really technical, honestly. He definitely is a good prospect. I don't know how far he can make it as well, but I'd say that giving him a matchup in the top 15 would be nice to see. I think that he definitely deserves a shot in the top 15, or to see how far he can make it. I believe this is his 5th victory. I think that he could have done a lot better in this fight. But I think that he kind of cruised by a decision victory in this fight. So let's move on to the next fight. Next fight, Ismail Nardiev versus Brunno Silva. Brunno Silva, he honestly didn't look like he wanted to fucking fight. Nardiev, he was a better striker in this matchup, just like I thought he would, and he was a better wrestler, just like I thought he would. But I didn't think that he would mix in as much takedowns as he did. He stuffed takedowns from Brunno Silva. Brunno Silva couldn't take him down. He couldn't strike with him. Nardiev was faster than him and just better than him everywhere. Honestly, it was a pretty easy victory for him, and he cruised by a decision 30-27 victory. Nardiev, he looks pretty good. I don't know how far he can make it, but Brunno Silva ain't no schlump. He ain't no chump. So I'd say that it was a good win. Let's see him match up with a different fighter to see how he is and see if he is maybe a top 15 worthy fighter. But let's move on to the next fight. First fight up, Renat Fakhretdinov versus Carlos Leal. Honestly, this was a really close fight. It was back and forth. Leal had his moments. Fakhretdinov had his moments. Fakhretdinov had a couple early takedowns. Couldn't get the takedowns late. Leal had some pretty good takedown defense, but I'd say that this was a close fight. I think it is a bit harsh to give this fight a 30-27, but I actually ended up having this fight 30-27 for Renat. I think that each round he honestly edged it out just by a little bit. It is a bit misleading saying he won 30-27 when you kind of expect that to be kind of a dominant victory, but I think that he barely edged out each round. 29-28 probably would have been fine. I can see people giving it to Leal because it was a close fight, back and forth. Fakhretdinov, he honestly should have gotten the takedowns easier, but maybe Leal had some pretty good takedown defense and kind of proved it in this fight. But I think that Fakhretdinov getting the win was the right decision. 30-27, I guess the general consensus seems like Leal might have won this fight, but I think it was close. It's not like crazy to give this to Leal. It's not a robbery in any sense, but I think that Fakhretdinov won just barely. That's going to be my recap for UFC 308. Thanks for watching.